Up next, Comcast, turning your routers into motion sensing devices in your house. Is this like that meme, like the Mom, I want Flock, and no, we have Flock at home, and the Flock at home is actually just your router from Comcast. Wi-Fi sensing isn't new technology, but has gotten a lot better known lately. The concept is that you can use radio frequency to sense movement within a building. Per Wikipedia's definition, quote, Wi-Fi sensing, also referred to as WLAN sensing or 802.11bf, is a technology that uses existing Wi-Fi signals for the purpose of detecting events or changes such as motion, gesture recognition, and biometric measurements, e.g. breathing. Wi-Fi sensing allows for the utilization of conventional Wi-Fi transceiver hardware and radio frequency RF spectrum for both communications and sensing purposes, end quote. So there's videos on YouTube of people showing how this works. It's an interesting technology, but it's terrifying. And it's not new. It's just gotten a lot more coverage lately because of stuff like this with Comcast. So as an example, if outside entities had access to this motion sensing information, such as, I don't know, your internet service provider that's providing the router or the router provider, they'd be able to know which rooms you're in, possibly what you're doing by looking at sort of what's the status of the sort of the waves of they've represented a body in space. So maybe it's, it seems like this particular user goes in what looks like it might be a kitchen to eat X many times a day. You could probably figure out someone's body type if you had sufficient data from how the RF interacts with the different bodies around the household. That might be useful information. You can see how that would be valuable, for example, with health insurance company advertising, things like that. Maybe you can look at how long they spend laying down or sitting versus standing or moving, how long they spend in the house, when they leave for work, when they come back from work, how long their lunch break is if they work at home. All of these things are really valuable information, and that's kind of the direction we're going with Wi-Fi sensing, where they could possibly build effectively a heat signature of your movement around your own home, how many guests you have, when they come over, and things of that nature. So this is it is a concerning technology, and this is also something that, since pretty much every public business, roadways now in some cities and states have wireless routers on things like street poles, like in cities, to try to provide a downtown network of Wi-Fi, which the ISPs are responsible for in most instances. So if you're already working with AT&T or whatever, maybe it just automatically works. That's all valuable information. You can use Wi-Fi sensing on that feasibly. You can obviously monitor the data, the traffic that goes through it, and use that for things. So anyway, this is something that could be coupled into, in the best case scenario, unbelievably targeted advertising that pairs well with devices like LG TVs or like phones, your car, and then it could be ingested into, in the worst cases, AI engines that know everything about you and your life. Now, Comcast says this is a feature you opt into. We say, for now. Comcast says its new Wi-Fi motion feature uses Xfinity gateways and connected devices to detect motion inside your home. According to the company, it does this by detecting, quote, changes in the home's radio frequency signal between the Xfinity gateway and a Wi-Fi connected device, end quote. Comcast calls it Xfinity Shield and is trying to bill it as home protection. Basically, it's being looked at as a motion sensor replacement for a security system or something. Difference is, with security systems, you can buy those things individually, part them out, and own them, and connect them through a closed circuit solution. And likewise, the security system, hopefully if you've set it up in a way that's a little more secure, is not something that's fed directly through and connected directly with your ISP accounts, because they have a lot of data on you. So if you don't go through a VPN especially, then obviously combining the data from your web browsing activities to the data with your home motion activity, that becomes pretty prying. Comcast says that Xfinity Shield will transform Wi-Fi into, quote, an always-on protection via the Xfinity Gateway, end quote. Great, so it's always on. They say it doesn't add cost for existing customers, but they have, quote, AI-enhanced monitoring and access to emergency services for $15 per month, end quote. In fact, they reference AI a lot in this write-up, which should concern people. Quote, leverages AI capabilities embedded across the nation's largest converged network. Protecting the home extends beyond cybersecurity. Customers today often juggle separate, expensive solutions for digital security, home monitoring, and family safety. Xfinity Shield addresses this fragmentation by bringing these capabilities together in a new product suite, managed through one simple experience in the Xfinity app, end quote. The marketing claims that it uses Wi-Fi motion to detect motion inside the home, that's a quote, and without using cameras, leveraging RF changes. Actually, Wendell's in town and will be here in 8 minutes. I'm going to be a little bit late. I got a little more than that to film, but hopefully not more than 10 minutes late. Wendell's going to be here soon, and we're going to film something on that, so you can check back for that. I'm going to read a little faster now because of what I just said. And